Hey there, welcome to the Prog universe here on Prog Monster. My name is Murph. I am the host of this show. So, we're doing a mini series. We've been doing it all week. This is episode 4, and it basically is 6 prog bands that should have been bigger than they are, or should have been more well known, maybe more commercial. You know, generally got more airplay, and they just didn't get it, but they deserve to get it, and they deserve to be among the best bands. So the band we're choosing to do, or the band I've chosen to do today, is Hawkwind. Yeah, you knew they were going to be on this list. I have to assume everybody would know that. I've been doing the Prog Universe episodes A and B on them. I've also done this album on my look back at a classic rock album, as well as their newest album that came out, which was on What's New. So I've been really hitting them hard, and they deserve it. They deserve to be here. They're to me, one of those 6 bands. They came out in 1970. Released their first solo album or their first studio album in 1970. I feel that they have like 7 albums that you might want to consider as being their top shelf albums. That would include like their debut album, In Search of Space, Do Re Mi Fa Sol La Ti Do, Hall of the Mountain Grill, this one, Warrior at the Edge of Time, this one, Outstanding Sounds and Amazing Music, and for the last one I would think Quirks, Strangeness, and Charms. All 7 of those albums I think are really good, very strong. If you're going to start anywhere, start with one of them. It changes a little bit from the initial couple and gets a little heavier, but generally speaking, they're all pretty good, pretty solid albums. So I would say their Magnus opus, which is one of the questions we're doing here, is this album, Hall of the Mountain Grill. Yep. I think most people feel that this is their best album. I personally like this one a little bit better, but I think this is definitely, you won't go wrong getting that one as your first album either. So the number of members that have been in their history, I've got 42. There may be more, but the list only gave me 42. That's fine. It includes David Brock, of course. Lemmy Kilmister, or Ian Kilmister, also known as Lemmy. Who else has been in this band? So many people. Nick Turner. I could list a ton of people, but basically there's been 42 members in this band, and he just keeps adding people, and some people leave, but for the most part it's been him, and the drummer has been the same for 40 years or so now too. So, but generally speaking, David Brock is the main guy. So that brings me up to who are my favorite. My favorite is probably David Brock, and my favorite song is Assault and Battery, which is on this album. I think they're really good, so catchy. I mean, there's some good ones on this one too, but that's probably my favorite track as it stands right now. What are they noted for? Okay, so Hawkwind is another one of these bands like E.L.P for that space rock. These guys are a little heavier, and somewhat a little faster. They also have a lot more of a psychedelic edge to their music. They've gone through periods where they've been almost proto-punk, punk sounding, new wave-ish. They've gone through their that kind of new age kind of electronic sounding music. They've gone through that stage, and to their credit, they didn't use the Hawkwind label. They used Psychedelic Warriors instead. But generally speaking, this is a band that is prolific in album making. They've got at least 30 some or more albums that they've released under the Hawkwind label, but there's a lot of like Hawk Lords and Church of Hawkwind and Psychedelic Warrior stuff out there too. So I'd say they're probably approaching 100 albums, and especially with their live collection of live albums is prolific, right? So what are they doing now? Well, they just released another album, like not even a week ago. So they're prolific, and they released one last year too. So I don't think there's been a year since they've came out that they haven't released something, and Yep, they just keep making those albums, and actually their last one was pretty strong. I think it belongs in that group of 7 at the beginning. So there you have it, Hawkwind, one of those great bands that didn't quite get that commercial success, although a lot of their albums did chart. They did chart for bits and pieces of time. They just never really quite made that top echelon where they were well known by the mainstream people and media and record lots of stuff played on the radio. They didn't get as much of that, but they deserve to get it because they're really a great band, I think. So there you have it. That's episode 4, Hawkwind. I hope you've liked this episode. If you had, please hit the like and subscribe. But don't forget to leave your comments, and if you think that maybe they had more greater albums than just the 7 I named, by all means do that. Maybe you think their Magnus opus is different. If you want to write down something different, that's fine as well. And make any kind of comments about the band you want, because this band deserves to get attention for its greatness, and that's what we're doing here. And don't forget to hit the notification bell so you don't miss episode 5, which will be coming out tomorrow. So take care and have a good one.